The recording is happening for 2 microphones.
Okay. Pop. You think you're cute, don't you? Well, you're right. But it won't stop me from killing you. With kindness. Even I think I can rub your stomach and treat you like a baby at the same time? You're wrong.
Poor Toby's.
That's right. Kill you with kindness. All the kindness I will give you with it.
So much kindness.
Smother you with it.
So much kindness.
Smother you with the kindness.
All the kindness?
All of it.
All of it.
All of it. The kindness will drown it. Drown in the kindness. No, I just put you down. What are you not understanding? Mine. You want the pee in the seat for you to understand?
Because the microphone is not working.
Okay.
Oh wait, maybe not. Can you tap it?
Pop,
Tap, tap.
can you hear me?
Gotta plug it back in.
Yes, I can hear you.
Pop.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
What have you done?
It's a bad Esteban.
Testing.
No treat-
Testy,
No
testy.
treats for you.
Testy, testy. Testy, testy.
First of all, pop, pop.
Pop, pop.
Welcome to Radio Pandemic.
No.
Okay, fine. No Radio Pandemic. Welcome to the podcast Pandemic.
Oh, a little more acceptable. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Alright, we're ready. We live. Yeah, don't do that.
What is the last podcast?
No,
It's the last podcast of people who are breathing.
stop that.
First, I must take a drink of water.
That's right.
Wasser.
It's a lot of work setting this up.
Confound you and your sippings.
Damn it, oh to hell. Damn it, oh to hell.
Don't touch the wires. They're very sensitive.
I'm sensitive.
Cool.
Okay, there. I have drinking the libations.
Hello.
Good evening.
Welcome.
Hola.
Old Books Podcast.
Guten Tag.
We passed that.
Okay.
We read old books and talk about them.
That's right. We make tangents.
No,
And we go off on them.
we don't go. We stick strictly to the story at all times.
At all times.
All the time.
Except when we don't.
Stop that. This is episode 22, I think, maybe?
It's episode 3 of this series.
Yes.
Yeah.
This
Was
is
it
part
three?
3.
Was it 3?
Yeah.
Did we do
Yeah.
2 others?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I was there.
Part
But I
3
can't remember.
of 3 Musketeers.
Yes.
The
Ooh.
Fiend.
That's right.
The Fiend.
The thing.
And as always, Esteban waits until we're recording to get on his phone and start looking things up.
That's right. He's
Well,
a millennial. He's
I
a
wanted to
millennial.
know what episode we're on since you.
But it won't show if you go. You have to look at the episodes that are scheduled.
Well, Moonstone is 3 parts, yes?
Yes.
What does that have to do with the subject we're talking about?
Here's why.
Here's the first tangent.
Ah,
So right now we have uploaded Moonstone Part 1,
Yes, and we still haven't started talking about the thing we're talking about.
which is 17,
Okay.
and then it's 18, 19, right?
Uh-huh.
what's this accent?
I don't know.
I don't know.
This is not people of color friendly. Stop that.
No, it's,
2021.
it's the accent of Ricardo Montalban.
So yes, this is episode
Who is the...
22.
Okay, now you've lost me.
22.
I only took 1 year of Spanish.
I'm
and
being
I failed.
invaded. There's a little
Just,
pesky Mexican dog.
just remember the last time she did that, she made all the wires go crazy.
I know.
Is the nationality of the dog relevant? Why are we mentioning it?
Because she's the Chihuahua mix. She'll figure it out. So the ending, we all finished it relatively recently. We
Yes.
finished it last night, S1 and I, and Dennis, you said you finished it yesterday also. How do we feel about it? I have mixed feelings.
I feel like justice was served.
Yeah? You're like totally happy with how
Yes.
everything ended?
I feel
Okay.
like partial justice was served.
I feel like it was kind of like,
I feel
it
like
was
everybody,
weird.
I feel like everybody doesn't have their head. I'm okay with that.
See, I don't even know if that's true.
So a villain did lose their noggin,
That's right.
but the villain she was working for did not.
I don't know.
I don't think she was working for
hit bomb.
anybody.
Huh?
I don't think she was working for anybody. I think she was working for herself.
Well, she was still doing missions for the Cardinal.
But they were in her best interest.
Sometimes.
Most of the time.
She really had no reason to
Yes.
like steal the gems for the Queen thing.
I think the
But if she does a favor for him, he does a favor for her.
all I'm saying is
She likes to have favors out to her for power.
she has no reason to scratch the back of her head, nor could she reach it if she needed to.
See, the way that the whole book played out, and when we find out all the crazy things that she's done,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even convinced that she actually died. I mean, it could have been, you know, she like...
Because she's a demon?
Yeah, like, what the
Yes.
fuck, man?
I mean, it literally took the guy who branded her,
Yes.
the first guy who was like, yeah, she needs to die,
Yeah,
and she got away from him,
that's right.
to come back all the way at the end of the book. And I was kind of wondering when they did the whole, like, he goes off in the night, and he keeps talking to people, and then he tells them something,
Mm-hmm.
and they suddenly become afraid.
That's right.
Yeah.
Go down that way, I'm not going with you.
That's right.
And I'm like, the whole time I'm like, what is he saying to them that's freaking everybody out? And of course, we find out that what he kept saying to them is like, hi, I'm looking for your local executioner.
Yep.
What?
See, I don't even think it was a local executioner. I think he was giving the name, and the name alone was like, oh, I'm not going over there.
Wouldn't it be crazy if like every town had their own executioner? Like now?
Oh, yeah.
That'd be crazy. If like there was just like one guy that's like, what do you do? I chop off heads.
Be like, yeah, you know,
That'd be crazy. What?
a judge tells
Why?
a judge tell me people is guilty, and then I swing my big old shiny sword.
That's right.
I don't know. I feel when I the end of the book is almost a separate thing to the rest of the book. Like when I think about the book as a whole,
Yes.
and I think about the ending, it almost feels like somewhere in the back of my mind there's an itch that feels like there's something that wasn't. Like the book was just so long, and there were so many different things and stories, and the
You
whole
just don't like
situation with
names
the
of French.
no, it's not that. There was so much there, and it really all came down to this one woman. But there was so much extraneous shit that it's almost
You
like
mean
a math.
tangents? There were so many tangents in
Yeah,
the book?
it felt like a math quiz.
I wonder
where it's like,
why we're speaking about it. Are we the perfect podcast for that?
Well,
With one thing we might even
Dennis.
guess.
I was bothered because I still feel like the Cardinal should have paid.
Yeah, he didn't
did
get
pay.
anything.
He did not pay.
He did.
Because remember, part of the thing...
He's a cardinal. He'll pay in heaven. If he gets there.
Right. He was sitting there talking about like, oh, he killed the woman. And at the same time, he was like, I'm also kind of relieved because there was something about that lady. I think she would have stabbed me in the back.
Yeah.
So it's like, no matter what, the Cardinal wins out.
Well, not without her head, it's very hard to do that.
And then D'Artagnan trying to be slick with him, he's like, but I do have a pardon from you.
Dun, dun, dun.
And I like how the Cardinal just took it like, rips it up,
Uh-huh.
and then promotes him.
That's
Yeah.
right.
For killing the thorn in his side.
That's right.
Okay.
You could be a problem for me, or you could be your own problem.
Right.
Mm.
Okay, wait. Let's back it up a little bit. How do we feel about that whole scene where she was incarcerated at the Winters' house? And that whole situation.
So, I get the thought process. De Winter has a lot of people in his employ. And he figured, I'm going to grab the most religious zealot of the soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one guy that can't betray me.
That's right.
Right.
And he's the guy who betrays him.
That's right.
Because the woman, the lady,
Milady. Or the demon.
she figures out, I don't even remember how she figured out what
Because of the way that he brings her the book, the Bible, at the end of the first night.
The
and
disgust.
He's like, he said that you're a Christian. Here's your book, so you don't feel like you're without your service. And the disgust and the way that he third partied that sentence.
Mm-hmm.
And like, And to get him to her side, she basically just pretends to be from the same religion.
Yes.
Yo.
But I don't feel like that would work in reality.
Yeah, it would.
You think so?
People are stupid that way.
Oh, wow.
It's like, hey, I pray to the same way you pray. Oh, then we're on the same side.
Well, it's that natural thing where people have a habit of believing the best in someone, and then if you throw in like extreme zealot level of religiousness into the mix, and you have this woman who's the Dorian Gray of women in this story, the most beautiful creature ever.
Did you hear that, everyone? That was a throwback.
Yeah, it was a throwback. But it's just like this angelic, beautiful, feminine creature that can sing and she knows how to throw all the act and do all of the emote everything, every pain, every sentiment of suffrage, and she is of your religion.
Mm-hmm.
And then she comes up with this seemingly flawless story as to how she was branded.
Mm-hmm.
That story was ridiculous.
It went on and on and on, and I'm just like, I thought she was gonna say it was D'Artagnan that branded her.
Well, we knew from like her conversation with the cardinal before she left, because he's like, yeah, I need Buckingham to die, and she's like, yeah, I can get it done, and he's like, how? She's like, oh, I'm gonna find some crazy person, I'm gonna get them to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she literally says that.
There must be a lot of crazy people around.
Clearly. So she found somebody, and he did it, and it was one of those things where you're like, really?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this guy was a lieutenant, I believe is what they kept calling him.
Yeah,
That means
which is lieutenant
in everywhere else.
British.
in British, yeah.
And it's like, oh, he's got a commission, he's on his way up in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And she convinces him to literally stab an important person.
Yes.
But the crazy
God
thing
damn.
for me is, and it makes me feel bad because, so this kid, this lieutenant, what was his name, Feller or something like that? Felton, right? We are introduced to him, and the way that we meet the Wilder's like, you know, this is basically my son. I saved your life multiple occasions. I've tutored you, you know, and the kid responds with that same level of, like, yes, this is I've been working with him for 3 years, and he's been there for me and all this stuff. And then the Winter shows and tells him the story, or at least a story, and tells him that she's branded.
Mm-hmm.
And so on one hand, this kid's got this woman that he's never met, whom he's been guarded against by the person that he views as a mentor and a father. And then you've got the woman, and at no point but we never hear any doubt in this kid's mind, like, you know, but I guess there's one particular moment where she lets her mask slip a little bit, and he wakes up a little bit, but it's just like, yo, bro, like, you've known her for 4 days, and all of a sudden, you're, like, falling madly and obsessed with her, and she's an angel that must be saved, and 3 years of this guy, like, saving your life and mentoring you and all of this, out the window. Just gone.
Yep.
That's just like, what?
Bad shit crazy.
What the what?
And, of course, her story of how she got branded, like, this room with no doors.
Goodness. Oh, she was raped repeatedly and drugged.
And then she's like, she wouldn't love him, so he branded me.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Sounds like a rape fantasy.
If I can't have you know him, Cam.
Yeah. It's that crazy thing.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Saying that it sounded like a rape fantasy.
It's a lot easier than branding her. He could have just had her head chopped off.
Well, he wanted, I don't know. Because
Right.
that would make more sense. It's like,
that would make more sense.
Mm-hmm. But think about her track of seducing and corrupting. She is Dorian Gray from this book. She, like, seduced and corrupted every single man she's met since she was a nun in her early days, like a little girl.
When she has her quote-unquote trial,
Yeah.
I loved how they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Where each accuser made their accusation.
Yep.
And I love how Porthos and Aramis, basically their job was like, eyewitness.
I agree.
Eyewitness. It's like, motherfuckers, you guys we're here to stand to say eyewitness?
Yes. Someone gets to witness, a third party.
So D'Artagnan makes his thing, Athos makes his thing, and
the Winter makes his thing.
The Winter makes his thing.
It's the same thing about being a crackhead in the hood. It's like, what do you do here? And it's like, well, generally I smoke crack, and I tell people what I see, whether that's true or not.
Right,
nobody will ever know.
But that's one of the points
But
in the books that I actually enjoyed, where Athos is finishing his thing. He's like, I married this woman and she was branded. And she tries to dig in at that point. She's like, let's see, you found someone to agree to that comment. And the guy, the person he happens to find in town, takes off the red cloak. I can, and I love how they describe, because all the time, even when she's kind of despairing or anything, it's more of like an angry despair. But this time they're like, she afraid.
Yeah, she backs up to the wall.
She's like, oh, because again, to start her evilness, she seduced his brother.
Yep. His brother, the priest.
The priest, into leaving the church.
No.
And stealing from the church. Yeah.
No, there was one before. So she was at the monastery. She seduced the priest.
That's
his
brother.
No.
Yes.
Say what you were going to say.
No, the priest was his brother, and he got arrested because his brother escaped.
I know, but if I recall correctly, I might be wrong, but I'm like 90% sure that when she was incarcerated the first time, she found someone, and that guy turned out to be her brother. She originally introduced a priest, and then she got kicked out or something, and then at that next holding cell, she tried to escape, and she used this guy's brother as an attempt to flee. And that's where they got caught when they were leaving, and the brother got back, and she got branded, and then at that moment. But I don't think he was the first. I think he was the second person.
No. He was the first, because he stole. The reason they got caught, he stole from the church for her.
Mm-hmm.
Then they both tried to escape. They both got caught. She got branded. They both escaped, and that's why, remember, this guy couldn't leave. They held him
until his brother was captured.
came back.
Yeah. No, I remember that part. I just felt like there was somebody before, like that his brother wasn't the first one.
That's how I understood it.
His brother was the first one, and the reason
I like your story.
Thanks.
the reason he got to get out is because she dumped his brother when she went to marry Athos, and that's when his brother came back just to make sure that this guy got released and hung himself in the prison. So this guy's got like extra like, oh, she dumped you after she ruined your entire life.
Right.
Oh, I'm gonna find her, and he's been searching for her ever since.
Yes.
Well, not ever since. Well, no, he found her and then he branded her.
He branded her, but
then,
she got away.
Right. And then I just imagine like how long you could be with someone and even like being together in bed and all of this, and not seeing their shoulder. Like they were together, they eloped in some fashion, that they do the things, and then all of a sudden it just, your shoulder's got this thing on it. It's like, it's different times.
It's a birthmark.
It's different times.
Just don't look at it during the light.
It's just a birthmark, I swear.
We can't do the thing until it's dark out. You can't see me naked.
That's right.
It's indecent.
So does the Florida Lee just mean everybody who's has it?
Well,
is a criminal?
From my understanding, you get branded, like, when it's decided that you're gonna be executed. So no one alive should have that branding. The point of the brand is to make sure if you happen to escape, everyone can never like, you're such a horrible person that you're supposed to be dead.
Gotcha.
Because
nobody had orange clothes back then.
Basically. Which is why
orange?
Yeah,
prison
clothes.
Oh.
Which is why every time someone sees it, they're like, what kind of horrible person are you? Because it literally tells you this is a death row inmate that should be dead.
She tore the tags off her mattress. How dare you?
Because you saw how
J'accuse.
when Athos, what was it? She was fainting and he went to grab her dress and and then he went to hang her. They never explained how she survived the hanging.
She probably seduced somebody else.
That's right.
And then
cut me down.
And then
I
of
swear.
course
I have money.
D'Artagnan,
right.
early morning after the fun time, sees him and he goes into shock. But her, now knowing how people react to the brand, tried to kill D'Artagnan immediately.
No one should know my secret.
That's right.
And the handmaid that served her all that time, Kitty,
Yeah.
that never got suspicious that she couldn't see her shoulder? Like, you could see everything but this one shoulder.
That's right.
Don't look.
Stare at all the tits you want, just not the shoulder.
I mean, here, that handmaiden didn't. She after the house scene, she disappeared.
Yo, that scene was crazy. Where she poisons her.
How did you feel about that?
Now that you ask me, I'm wondering if I should have felt something about it.
Well, here's why I say that.
Psychopath.
So this young lady.
She had no money. She was worth nothing.
So this young lady.
Madame Bonacieux.
Madame Bonacieux. So if I didn't know everything else about her.
His harness.
Yo,
Because it's gonna jingle.
Gotcha.
If I didn't know anything else about her.
Innocent system having.
Well, he's gonna keep walking around me. I can't ignore him.
Okay.
He's gorgeous.
She helped the queen with these intrigues. She did all these things, which in my mind made her seem like a capable, intelligent, cautious person. But somehow she has like no caution.
Yeah.
When talking to one other woman, and like that didn't feel right to me. Like I felt she should have been like, I'm here. But she's like, oh no, I am punished by the cardinal. Oh, let me tell you about my problems. Like I don't feel like like someone who's been through everything. She had been through the book. She would have done that.
I think
I'm trying to think.
it was a lack of respect for people of lower class.
What do you mean?
Meaning because she was of a lower class, she couldn't do anything to hurt her. It's like if your maid or whatever, they have so low status in this world that with all the information you hadn't given me, people wouldn't believe you because you're no one.
No. I'm not talking about Kitty. I'm talking about when Bonacieux is talking to Milady.
The
okay.
And
wife of the owner of the hotel that was running errands and messages and stuff and doing all that.
Right, and she just reveals everything to my lady. Like I read through that and I was like, I don't feel like she would have revealed it that quickly. Like she has been part of political intrigue.
Yes.
I feel like she would have been a little more cautious.
On the other side,
I thought you were talking about Kitty, but I still kind of feel like it works. And at some point, you tell things to people who couldn't harm you. Like what I mean? You was like, I'll confide in you because you're of no,
right.
Like you're of no harm to me.
Yeah, and what I mean, my point is like you're talking about the woman who successfully seduced a zealot, military man from underneath the eyes of his father mentor in the span of 4 days, right?
Right.
Well,
and this is
that's
like a feeble-minded woman in this supposedly sacred space, and they're together. They've supposedly suffered the same plights. They probably, they know the same people. So this must be a sister that I can talk to, especially since it sounds like there wasn't a lot of people. And so when you're alone for a long time,
it's a convent. You're not supposed to.
So when you throw in like how long Bonacieux's been there, probably seeking some sort of companionship, loneliness, all of that lends itself to an attachment forming really quickly.
Yeah, but it was like 15 minutes.
Well, yeah, but they had lunch together.
Like if they did it over the course of like with Felton, maybe a couple of days.
But Felton was
but you've never met people like that who
tougher nut to crack.
Who tell you everything about themselves or like deep in-depth part of their lives and they just met you and it's like I just feel like we've known each other forever.
Yeah,
I've met so many people like that, especially on the train. People just want to. People tell me with that kind of face I can just trust. It's like I don't want you to.
I don't want you.
What face do I have to make so you'll lie to me or that you won't say anything? Anything.
Yeah,
just stop talking to me.
That's not attractive.
See, that's the face you make. Open your eyes wide.
No.
Slap John Dennis.
Negative.
But it's seriously like you get on the train and people are just like, can I tell you something? It's like, please don't.
But yeah, that was the only thing that kind of bothered me. I was like,
I was a little chafed at the point where she reveals the paper and gives her the letter.
Right.
Hands that like everything else again, like I can understand, but to the point where she's like, look at my letter. That's something that I feel like for someone who was in the habit of being secretive about messages, right. That specific action for me caught me a little bit, and I was just like, she handed over the letter. That doesn't.
Right. Where in the first 10 chapters, anytime D'Artagnan asked her a question, it's not my secret to tell.
But that was her secret to tell, because she's being rescued by
Right, but technically in the letter, one of the secrets in the letter is who wrote the letter. She's revealing them.
But that's something that I think, how can I say? Like when you get to a certain stratus within society, you get into this thing of like noting and seeing, recognizing handwriting.
Mm-hmm.
That might not be something Madame Bonacieux is like thinks everybody thinks about or automatically associates with this person.
Plus, this is even the timing. Not a lot of people can write. You know what I mean? Like not a lot of people are literate.
But it did seem like every fucking person in this book knew every single piece of the handwriting that was presented to them. Nobody was like, "Who's this letter from? I don't recognize the E." Yeah. Like, I know this E. It's a particular little squiggle made by
they probably
the
all
cardinal.
they probably all had a similar teacher, if not the same teacher.
Right.
Maybe.
But yeah, that interaction, I was like, though the ending of that interaction, I was like, oh man.
Yeah, that.
Like I was like, okay, they're there. She can't get her to move. Will she? Like I was waiting for like, oh, she's gonna stab her or something, or because she always gets into like these super vicious modes where, and
no, she wanted to get back at that time, and she knew that he was coming, so she knew that he would see her.
Well, even if
die of poisoning.
Even if she just stabs her,
correct.
It's like, oh, she's dead, but she probably did the poisoning because she wanted her to, like, say my name. You heard my name. Make sure as you die, you say my name so he knows.
Would he want? I don't know.
Because that's the only reason she would do a poisoning, because just seeing her die, she's still dying if you stab her. She's bleeding to death on the floor.
Right, but it's a different experience, right? When you walk into a room and you see someone dying, immediately you're arrested and you're like, I need to help her. But there's a different experience when you meet someone and you both think that everything is okay, and then all of a sudden this person that you were so excited about, it's like, it's a different emotional trip, I think. You're like, oh my god, I love you, blah, 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 what's wrong, And then all of a sudden that, what the deuce? What the dickens?
I liked Athos during that whole situation, because at one point he's just sitting. It's like, because they made that wonderful description. This guy comes in with his gun smoking. The other two comes with their swords drawn. Athos walks in and sits down, because he is that upper echelon guy. He's like, yeah, we did it. Sits down. The lady starts dying. He still hasn't gotten up. And then she's like, she. Not the name, just she. Who is she? Like, he immediately just out of his chair, super intense all of a sudden. It's like, oh. And of course...
There's only one she in the world.
And all of a sudden that triggers D'Artagnan and all that stuff. And,
yeah. Which I also thought was, it was a little bit refreshing, I guess, how emotional the men are in this book. Like,
they are French.
They're, I guess, is that a thing?
I don't know, but I feel like it is.
But it's just like, he's like sobbing over this woman, and I think he holds Athos, and Athos starts crying with him. And it was just a little bit refreshing, a little nice to hear about men being openly emotional and agitated and upset.
Well, generally, like in these older stories, the way you like picture British men is very stiff upper lip and very staunch. And it's like it hurt me when you died, but I would not cry.
Well, I mean, even when he left,
it's like unbecoming.
Yeah, when
but
he left his
with
home.
Frenchmen, they're very they're very emotive, and it's like
well,
more wine, more women. In the death, it was terrible. I don't know why I'm doing a horrible Spanish accent for French, but I...
But even between the sobbing, they do throw in some of the machismo. Remember when he's trying to get D'Artagnan to move, and D'Artagnan's just like laying on her body, he's like, women cry for the dead, men avenge them.
That's right.
I did the same accent.
Someone out there is like, that's not what we sound like. We do have 1% French listeners, so to those of you who listen to the podcast, thank you. And
we're
reach
sorry.
out. We're sorry for terrible accents.
Yes.
We're just a couple
Please
of
comment
Yorkers having
with
fun.
audio showing us how we should do it.
Yes. But no, that scene was crazy, especially since Milady is like, she like allows herself to like explain like, this isn't how I wanted the revenge to be, and she runs away. That was
intense.
Interesting, yeah.
And then of course when his plan to catch her wouldn't have worked if they didn't have lackeys.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The entire time, in my mind, I was like, why do they keep describing these poor saps? And then they become basically one of the most instrumental parts of the end.
Yes,
That's right.
they
The
are,
interns of
absolutely.
the French world.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like, he gets everybody riled up, like, yeah, and he's like, all right, let's go into this nice hotel and we're gonna sleep the night. And everyone's like, what? But and he's like, no, I've got this. And because he says I got this, D'Artagnan's like, okay, I'll go. But the other three, De Winter and the two other Musketeers, are like, what? And then that's when he finally spits it out. Oh, she's my wife. And I love how they describe D'Artagnan's like, he gets a smile on his face because he knew the moment he's willing to reveal his secret, she's going to die.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it told D'Artagnan. He's like, oh, okay, good. So he went up to his room.
He's actually mad now.
The other two Musketeers were just like, we know his secret.
That's right.
It came close to coming out a couple of times during the book.
Right.
But he managed to keep, because it also then ties into who he actually is and his real
He
name.
kept it in the vault.
And
Yeah.
yes. And as awful as De Winter knows the woman to be,
Yes.
hearing it, he's like, oh, this guy must be crazy.
Yep.
Think about that's how well she had him wrapped around.
Mm-hmm.
He now knows how awful of a person she is and all the things she does, and still hearing some more things about her, he's like, oh, nah. Like that was funny to me. I was like,
Wait, what do you mean?
well, De Winter, when he heard this guy say, it describes him as thinking that Athos has just lost his mind.
Oh, yeah.
That's how confounding she was of a villain. That this guy's like, nah, I know the evil thing she did to me, but your wife,
That's right.
please.
Could you imagine being married to her? In that case.
I mean, it seems like it
Uncork all your wine bottles. It's like in front of me. It's like I'm not even letting you uncork anything.
Mhm.
it honestly sounds like the marriage would only last about a week anyways, and then
Yeah.
you'd be dead.
And then you're dead and she's got your money. Dennis,
Yes.
what did you think?
Of the ending?
Everything.
Well,
The book, the ending, the characters.
the ending was so good to me that I think, one, justice was served. I am one of those people who always think, in some cases,
Mm-hmm.
why shouldn't you just get your head cut off?
Mm-hmm.
I think that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Wait.
if I was like an old medieval king,
Mm-hmm.
it's like it'd be a lot of people without their head. I'd be one of those.
Good thing you're not a medieval.
Yeah, I'd be one of those kings who's like, oh, this castle doesn't have enough spikes.
Oh.
I have a lot of people coming over. I thought the book itself, I enjoyed like the honor part of it. You know, the parts where like
The on guard?
Yeah, you know, no, just the honor, like where it's like, you know, I like books that where ethics are shown. It's like, okay, we don't do this unless this happens, and specifically it has to happen. It can't be a thing that we just do because we feel like it. No, it has to happen because of reason. And it's like, if we're gonna cut somebody's head off, it's like we have to give them, and it's even if we give them, you know, a sham trial, we're giving them a trial. And it's like, we know you did this. Now you would die. This kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. What'd you think of the right before she loses her head, that little mini interaction? Because I thought that was awesome.
I thought it was great.
Because just like you spoke about, there are rules.
Yes.
And if you kill a person, even though they've committed crimes,
Yes.
and if you kill them, but without a proper trial
Yes.
and a proper executioner being
Then
paid,
that's an assassin.
you count as an assassin.
Yes.
So they hand the executioner money.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Athos is like, to show that
Silver,
this is
yeah.
a proper blah 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 blah.
Yep.
I hand you this money, and you are now officially an executioner.
Yep.
And I love the executioner. He's like,
He's like, I received this
your
money and I toss it away because I enjoyed this too much.
He's like, this is a debt owed. So.
Yes.
like he admits it. He's like, I'm gonna enjoy killing you.
Exactly. He's like, I sharpened my knife.
Well, I really like the point where she's like, she's about to die. She knows she's about to die. She's kneeling, and she goes, "Well, I'll do this." And one of them says, "You did that already." She goes, "Oh, well, I'll do that." And the other one's like, "You did that already." And then she's like, "I'll join the nun." And he's like, "You started your life as a nun."
Exactly.
It's just like,
He's like,
she's expired everything.
you committed your crimes as a nun. So there goes that idea.
Or when they're walking her to the execution site and she talks to the first two
Yeah,
lackeys.
and he's like, replace this acting. She's spoken.
Exactly. They're tainted.
They're broke.
Yeah.
You
Like,
only get like 3
That's right.
words and then you're done.
that's a big chunk of respect to her.
Yep.
Where it's like, oh, she said a whole sentence. They
Yeah.
are broken.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
It's almost like her words are just witchcraft. I did not know much about this book going in, and I didn't really know what to expect.
The movie ruined it for me.
Did it? Okay, so
Yeah.
what was it like compared to?
Because the movie was so kind of straightforward. You know, like they only got an hour to tell the story, so they gotta keep it moving. So it's not like the book at all.
Right. So there's no.
They do hate the cardinal.
Okay.
Yes.
But it's not the same story.
Okay.
And he
So
gets his comeuppance in the end.
Yeah.
The cardinal does.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh shit. Okay.
Well, we're in the book where he doesn't. And I know that angers some of us, but but you know, it was just like it was a whole different story. So it was like, you can kind of like in the movie, D'Artagnan was kind of already a musketeer. Like you know, even though he wasn't officially a musketeer, he was a musketeer. He's one of us, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas at the end, you know, like D'Artagnan is like the musketeer.
Yeah.
It's like, what happened to the other 3 guys? What 3 guys? It's just me.
Yeah.
I am the musketeer. It's like, what? It's like the book
Three
is
Musketeers?
the
No,
book is called Three
it's called
Musketeers.
D'Artagnan.
There was 3 of you and you.
Uh-huh.
So what happened to the other 3 guys? So they're not here anymore.
Yeah.
They're out to lunch.
We never went to get them after that trip we took.
Exactly. It's like, I don't know. We dropped the lady off on the other side of the river, and then you know, they kind of disappeared.
The scene where they need to have a discussion and they make a bet with everyone at the bar that they're gonna hold up inside of that fort or whatever for an hour. I enjoyed the hell out of that. That shit was so good. But the whole thing, I think part of the thing I enjoyed the most, I love that Porthos is so fucking thick because he doesn't understand why they're putting their dead bodies out there so that they can escape, and the whole thing and the conversations. And it's almost like every time there's a plan, it's almost like there's a betting almost. Like, that's a good one. Can we get a better one? Can we get a better one? And sold.
Yeah.
I think what I enjoyed about Porthos is that everyone knew he's an idiot.
Yes.
To the point where Milady's talking to
Chevalier.
Chevalier Rus, whatever his name was.
I hope it's not his name, it's not Chevalier.
Well, that's his title, but either way, when she's talking to him,
Richelieu. No.
yeah.
Is it?
No, that's
the Cardinal. That's so many names and nicknames.
the guy that D'Artagnan really wanted to fight, and he finally fights him once they're all both famous and rich, and now they're friends, which is, of course.
Yeah, of course.
But
Little bow on top.
when she's describing everybody, and she's like, D'Artagnan and Athos, they're dangerous. They must be killed. Aramis, I know his lady. We can blackmail him. And, you know, the fourth one, Porthos, he's a booby. She calls him a booby.
And then he in
He's a
turn
tit of
calls,
a man.
when he's reciting everything back, he's like, Porthos is an ass.
Yes. It's like, oh, they're just going to slap different body parts to name him because
Every single person.
no
in
respect.
Yeah.
No respect.
Yeah. But what did you guys think of the scene where they hold up in the thing
The fort.
for that in the fort for the hour? I thought that was like one of the
It's
highlights
great.
of the book. I really enjoyed that scene.
Them continuing to sucker people out of their money.
Well, no, just the fact that they're there trying to have lunch and that the war happening around them is almost like an inconvenience. Like, no, we're not leaving. We haven't finished our wine yet.
Yeah.
Well, everything that wasn't them hanging out was an inconvenience.
Yes, that's
Like,
true.
anytime to discuss, like, anything they had to do, it's like, yes, we can
Yeah, like every time they had somebody to go kill, it's like, I have to go kill this person first.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm in the middle of the duel, and it's like, well, we have this duel first.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, God.
It's like, I would kill you now, but I have something planned already.
And then, like, even when they described D'Artagnan getting his job as a soldier for somebody else, they're like, that guy really lucked out, because he didn't get a soldier, he got 4.
Mm-hmm.
Because they would just be hanging out with D'Artagnan on guard.
Yeah.
So it's just like, the guy's like, ha! Extra people!
Yeah.
Like, these guys are literally the slack-offs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, everyone loves them.
Yep.
Because they encountered over 10 different dueling / like life and death situations over the course of this book, and they always live. Oh, and the scene where they're having the discussion and the cardinal tries to hide behind a bush,
Yeah.
and then the lackey calls him out, and Athos gets
Yes.
mad.
Because his lackey's not allowed to speak.
Yeah.
His lackey can sign things to him.
Nah.
But he actually spoke. So rather than like, good job, you did a good thing. Bad lackey, you made words.
You made sounds. You bothered
That's
me.
right.
And then they made him eat the letter.
Well, I thought that was cute. I thought that was cute because he's like, as punishment for speaking, you have to eat this letter.
But you get wine.
But then you get the wine, and so the lackey's like eating the paper, like, oh, that wine, I can't wait.
Because of course they have good wine.
Yeah, Spanish wine.
Spanish wine.
What there was one scene where they're talking about having wine, and they mentioned that they're having Bordeaux,
Mhm.
and the author pens in, is like, you know, if Bordeaux wasn't as famous as it is now,
Ah.
but it was still just as delicious.
Yes.
So it was still enjoyed very much by whoever it was that was drinking it, whichever one. There were a couple of really enjoyable scenes. I like the scene where they're having the verbal duel with the cardinal, as the cardinal's like trying to hide and eavesdrop on them. I like the scene where they hold up in the fort. The scene at the very end with the trial was really good.
Yes.
That
But
was
overall,
intense.
the whole book, it was just like I don't know the vibe, the feeling, whatever I thought it was gonna be, isn't what it turned out to be.
Definitely.
I thought there'd be more heroics,
Yeah.
and instead it was just like a lot of butthurt feelings,
True.
and then avenging those butthurt feelings.
And
Yes.
also, the movie made me think there was gonna be more rope swinging.
Rope swinging.
Yeah, in the movie, there's a lot of swinging, like swinging from ropes.
Oh.
Indiana
Like,
Jones
just-
type
Yeah,
swing.
yeah.
Oh.
And it's like,
Oh.
there are
Crashing
not
through
ropes in
windows.
this book.
For me, I was waiting because, so here's what the cardinal was supposed to be in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Darth Sidious.
Oh yeah.
He's moving behind the scenes, and he technically was,
Mhm.
but he didn't get his comeuppance.
That's right.
See,
He's very uncentered to Palpatine.
Yeah, he's just there.
That's right.
and that's the thing. Like, if anything, I feel like she was more Darth Sidious than he was. The way that she was like, and no matter what was going on, she was able to pivot the situation.
Yes.
And anytime, any new information, anything that was going on, she always kept her cool. She was always like
See, that's the thing. She lost her head. So in this, again, if I'm gonna stick to Star Wars,
She was more
Uh,
General Grievous.
no,
No, you don't think so?
oh,
No.
you didn't think he'd Dooku?
she's Dooku.
Yeah.
Because Dooku never loses his calm either, but
Yeah.
he does lose his
It's
head.
calculating as fuck though.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I see.
and also an aristocrat.
Oh yeah. So she's Dooku
She's
basically.
Dooku.
She's a Dooku Dorian Gray.
So now we know.
Holy crap!
Three Musketeers is Star Wars.
It is, because here's the other thing.
Uh-huh.
Uh-oh.
The cardinal loves D'Artagnan,
Yes.
and he's kind of grooming him,
Yes.
getting him promoted.
Yes.
Anakin.
Yes. Okay, so we just kind of fell into it.
Yep.
Fan casting.
Yes.
That's it. Let's go.
Oh, damn.
I kind of want to put Danny DeVito as Porthos. Don't die.
Why? Because Porthos is also the one they
He's round and dumb.
but they also refer to him as Ajax.
But he's round and dumb.
Which
so.
is a short round cannon.
They're referring to the giant Greek.
I understand, but still. First you
Okay,
said
okay.
Ajax, and I thought, well, that too is short and round.
So, okay, Danny DeVito.
Or just, because that's what I thought.
But DeVito couldn't pull off all the dumbass things,
Mhm.
and then he dresses up in the nice clothing to show everybody. Like,
Yeah. There's the scene at the end where he's getting dressed for his wedding,
Mhm.
and he's like fashioning his suit in the mirror. Come on.
that, like, reading how they all went their separate ways, and he literally just waited till the lady's husband died and married her.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's like, all
That's
right.
right.
I guess
She'll be
we
rich.
can hang out
Yeah.
together now.
He's-
She'll be rich.
He's literally a gold digger.
Yeah.
I really like when D'Artagnan offered him the letter written by the cardinal,
Yes.
officiating him as a lieutenant,
Mhm.
and I think it was Athos was like it's above Athos and it's below his proper real name.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I really like that little like way of
Mm.
saying like, no, you can have it. It's
Yeah.
cute.
It's
It's
from you,
cute.
fan.
It's cute. Okay, so casting. Hello.
And see, I've seen the movie so many times. I keep thinking of the same
The
people,
actual
the
actors.
actual actors that played them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking Kiefer Sutherland And
Who's D'Artagnan?
he was played by what's the last one I saw?
The swashbuckling youngster.
Yeah, he's played by some guy the guy I can't remember his name, Justin Chambers, who's one of the actors in Grey's Anatomy. So now that's why I keep saying seeing him as that now, but he's not also not.
But you went as far as Danny DeVito.
Chris Evans, not Chris Evans, Chris O'Donnell was the guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, at one point in one of the new versions, he was the D'Artagnan.
But I don't mean enemy either. I don't know that.
You do know.
I'm sure I do. I just
you
don't
don't
know his
remember
name.
people because you don't be remembering stuff.
You're right.
I mean, if we're gonna throw Danny DeVito in there,
And the Cardinal I remember was the guy that played it. His name is
Tim Curry.
yes, Tim Curry.
huh?
So it's like I keep
Really?
remembering.
As
Yeah,
a Cardinal?
as well. Yeah, one of the versions. I think the Disney version he played the Cardinal.
I mean,
That makes sense.
I would love to have Tim Curry as our cardinal, but like crazy Tim Curry.
Oh, okay.
So the guy that continually pisses off D'Artagnan and he's chasing him.
That he wasn't in the movies.
Oh wow. But
Mm-hmm.
I know who I would love to cast him, even though he's no longer with us.
Who?
Rickman.
Have
you ever seen him play the sheriff from Nottingham?
Yeah.
And played it the same way, just that much of an ass.
Awesome, lightweight, yeah.
Yeah, that would be dope.
Yeah.
And then it would make all the sense that he keeps missing off D'Artagnan doing all those things. Like, yes.
So, I'm trying to think who I would have as the main three Musketeers. And I'm drawing blanks.
Well, if that's the case, now I want the guy that played Robin Hood to play D'Artagnan in that case. Kind of replace him, but like he's much older and a little chubby now. So, a little heavy.
I feel like what's his name? From the Guardians of the Galaxy, the main guy.
Star-Lord?
Star-Lord. I feel like he could
Pratt.
be D'Artagnan.
Chris Evans, Chris Pratt,
Yeah, Pratt.
Could be D'Artagnan. I feel like he could run around just swashbuckling and being like,
consistently
I've
saying
apologized once, I'm not doing it again.
Yes.
that works.
Yeah, that could work. Yeah.
Who should be Milady?
Oh, that would be. Depend. How old is she supposed to be? Like in her 30s?
She's supposed to still look vibrant.
Yeah.
So
But consider-
let's say somebody in her 20s, maybe late 20s.
Late 20s. Because remember, the women married young.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Or-
very, very young. It's like,
Yeah.
Did you just hit puberty? And then you're perfectly correct.
Correct.
Yes.
So yeah, she probably would have been in her late 20s.
It has to be someone who is like a lot heavy stats on beauty and charisma and smart. Yeah. Thanks, Liz.
There's like, ouch.
Yeah. Kind of taking out Hollywood there. It's like they don't like smart.
I mean,
But-
there
but
are
who-
some.
Smart McFrown lines on your forehead.
Who projects?
Yeah, you're right.
who projects smarts that we know of?
That's hard.
It's maybe just a nerd in me, but first thing I go to is Liv Tyler.
Okay.
Because she was an elf.
Because the way that they talk about her is like an angelic kind of like radiant beauty, and her voice just just makes her seem so innocent and the whole thing. So I'm trying to think of someone who.
Any actresses that we know sing well?
See, I'm not. The singing is a secondary because you can get someone to stand in and do the singing parts, but the angelic qualities, even because I'm figuring she'd be one of those people that's very symmetrical. Just trying to think who would do a role like that.
So I guess she'd be an American actress.
I feel like the Liv Tyler just works for that. Except
She's probably a little too old now.
But
like from her when she was an elf.
Yeah.
I would love to see her playing those particular scenes when she's murderous, though.
Yes.
Because that's the other thing you need. That off switch where it's like, because every time she was ready to kill, when they described it from the male point of view, it's like, oh shit, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The look in her eye has killed me.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that could work. I'm drawing blanks.
Yeah, same.
This is kind of a hard movie to cast for.
Yeah.
For real casting anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But if we were to switch to
Yeah.
Comedic casting.
retarded casting,
I mean,
ridiculous
that's
casting.
what I figured Danny DeVito was there for.
Oh no, I was casting him in the regular one.
No.
No.
When you said Danny DeVito, I just started thinking the whole cast of It's Always Sunny. As you know, and them doing a version of
But I'm thinking of
Three
Danny-
Musketeers.
I'm thinking of
'Cause
Danny
there's three
DeVito
guys
from
in the
the
main
Penguin,
cast.
like earlier on when he's younger.
He was never young.
He was
Oh,
never
okay.
young.
He's one of those people who looked old when they were young.
Right.
Like if you ever see him in his Taxi days,
Mm-hmm.
he was like, "How old is that guy?" He was like, "He's 23." It's
Oh,
like,
shit.
what?
Who's a
Well, you
larger person
Uh-huh.
who can play dumb well?
Patton Oswalt? No, he's very smart. I'm sure he can play dumb. Think fat comedians.
No, not fat. Like
Mhm.
when I think of like when they just, unfortunately, now that I've learned some of the Greek stuff, when I think Ajax, I'm literally thinking like the big. Oh
Fluffy.
What?
no, the guy who plays Thor.
Oh, Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
That's not alternate casting.
No.
Oh, you're still trying to actually cast him.
Right.
Oh no.
Who are we casting him as? Chris Hemsworth?
Porthos.
Who will we do for Athos and Aramis?
See, with Aramis, you need the guy who wants to be religious but likes the ladies. So he's got to be kind of suave, but can pull off the.
Oh, what's his name? He was in King Kong. He was the penis in the movie. That very like Aqualine feature.
His name is Adrian Brody.
Yes. What do you think?
That could work, yeah.
See, this works. I don't know their names. I just spit out their movies and then
He's-
Dennis fills in the gaps.
You can pull off Pious.
That's right.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
a priest, but I will lay you.
Yeah, and I think he could emote well, like frustration, like
oh, definitely.
like getting mad at the food that he just ordered, not having any meat in
Right.
it, even though he was religious when he
Right,
ordered it.
right.
That's right.
I could see that
He
happening.
killed the predator once.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And as for Athos, he must basically be the ultimate nobleman.
See, in the alternate casting, I would love to put George Carlin in that role.
Oh damn.
Yeah, because he could be wise, but he's
Mhm.
always a jackass in
Mhm.
terms of like his sarcasm. Who's?
Robert Downey Jr.
No. I mean, he could.
He's got the age.
Yeah. Oh. Anthony Hopkins.
Yes.
I think he's too old.
Oh, we're not paying that close attention
Yeah.
to age. We brought someone back from the dead.
Like I can't think of him at. He's always seemed old to me. Like
But he's an old character.
he would, but he's not that old. Like
Alan
he,
Rickman.
He does make it well too.
true.
Yeah.
Because for Hopkins, I would cast him as Treville.
Oh, yeah, interesting. A general kind of
Right.
Yeah.
That all the
that gives
Musketeers
all the
go
time
to.
off that you could ever want
Right.
with extra days and nights.
Just 2 extra days and a few extra nights. It's not that much.
Every time they ask for OT, a time off to get
That's
it. Come on,
fine.
man. Come on,
There was
man.
just a war going
Who's
on.
the
It's not that.
Cardinal?
Well, you know who we have to put in this movie that we haven't put in there yet? Connery.
What
Sean.
yeah, we'll get there. He's stuck in trying to actually cast this. So who would you put as Sean Connery?
Who was put as Sean Connery? Well, Sean Connery.
No, like, what character would you assign him to? Mr. Drinks water with a pinky up?
Because he is no.
Yeah, you know.
Well, let's see. Which lines do I want to hear blurted in that wonderful Sean Connery?
Oh, God.
Damn, he could
He
be
could
all
be
of
any
them.
of, yeah, he could be any of them. I kind of
Just-
would like to hear him, like, when they're in the fort and they're saying, like, no, we're not leaving. We haven't finished our wine yet. I would like that.
I mean,
Now I'm seeing a playbill that says Sean Connery is the Three Musketeers.
Oh God!
So who's D'Artagnan?
Sean Connery.
No, no,
He's
no.
all for-
No, Sean Connery is the Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
But D'Artagnan is not a musketeer. He's in training.
That's right.
I mean, if Sean Connery is already like,
William Shatner.
Patrick Stewart is D'Artagnan.
oh my god, that movie would never end.
Think about a young.
Oh god.
Think about like the young William Shatner, the punchy from like the first season of Star Trek.
He still has that cadence.
Yeah, and it's even. I think it's worse then because it's more natural than it's the forced version that he's doing now. So
Think about it. When he's doing those long ass soliloquies talking about how he's in love, you have to hear that.
okay,
His
so I
cadence.
think that's kind of the point. But so who would you? What would
And
you
I
put?
branded her.
Oh, we didn't cast the fool. What about Monseigneur? The husband.
Yeah,
That goes-
the hotel guy.
Yeah.
And he's slimy, creepy, worm-tonguey guy.
Jack Black.
That's crazy that at the end of the movie he doesn't even bother to find out what happens to his wife.
No.
That's crazy.
Jack Black.
For
that guy.
But for the one man
Oh.
show, we make it a 2-man show.
Yes.
Right. So you have Sean Connery doing the Three Musketeers.
And Patrick Stewart.
No. Because you need someone to be loud and obnoxious to be D'Artagnan.
Ah.
So just imagine you have Sean Connery making all these
oh
things,
no.
and then you hear, "On guard, motherfucker!"
Who's that?
Fucking
Samuel Jackson.
That's why I was gonna throw in the motherfucker. Cause think about who gets insulted more than him. This motherfucker talking about my yellow horse.
Imagine Samuel L. Jackson riding in on a piss yellow horse.
Think about he will be insulted by all those.
do that movie.
And then I want to cast Antonio Banderas as the guy that's always with the scar on his face that's always running away and like so Samuel L. Jackson is chasing
Chasing
after
Antonio
him.
Banderas.
That's the worst production in history. And I'd see it twice.
You got Sean Connery in the background
Yeah.
at all times in every
It's like,
frame.
you know there's supposed to be like 10 more characters, right?
But it would be Sean Connery,
Yeah.
but the way that they would actuate the different characters would be different camera angles.
Mhm.
So they have, like,
and him
the
changing
da-
hats only.
Just hats.
What do you mean? So Porthos, the camera would look down on
Yeah.
him. Arthos, it would like look side on, and then Aramis, it would be like down to up to like glorify. And so you just have one Sean Connery doing all 3 roles, chasing after Samuel L. Jackson, who's chasing after Antonio Banderas.
Please make this movie.
Okay. So there's a couple of characters we're still missing. Really?
He thirsty.
Jesus.
He's been stalking us the whole time. I don't know if you noticed.
We're still missing The Rock
Oh,
and Keanu Reeves from the usual lineup.
damn, Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves could be Treville. Very general,
No.
Mm-hmm.
maybe, or
I mean, I think he would pull off well when they're having the clock situation,
yeah.
where D'Artagnan moves the clock, and
Mhm.
I can see Keanu Reeves like, whoa,
Yeah.
that was 30 minutes ago.
I thought it was so much later.
Cool, dude. You can go.
Yeah. Who's the cardinal in the fan cast? Because even in a fan cast, I'd still want the cardinal to be someone a little bit sinister that can do like that kind of serious tone, even though
Patrick
it's a
Stewart.
fucking retarded thing. No, that's too close to real. It's somewhat absurd, but let me think about this.
Ian McKellen.
No. It's gotta be ridiculous. But ridiculous. And Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey can turn it on and off.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he could be the cardinal.
Yes.
As for The Rock,
Mm-hmm. Oh no.
he's Lord De Winter.
Really?
Absolutely.
Why?
So every time he comes into the prison to talk to her, he comes in doing the people's eyebrow. And when he's talking to whoever we cast as Felton,
Who is Felton?
I don't know, but he has to deliver it as The Rock.
I know who Felton is.
So in third person, Lord De Winter told you that's not the lady. What did Lord De Winter tell you?
Elijah Wood. That's Felton. That could go either way. It could go real or alternate cast.
Oh, his super blue eyes.
Being creepy.
Yeah.
And just that, like, passion, you know.
That would just work.
Yeah. Dennis? Any people you'd love to see play this role, either in
All the people you've named have got me thinking about other movies and other
Uh-huh.
things I've seen them in or want to see them in, or you know, or just in like now because you said The Rock, all I can think of is The Rock dressed up as himself, his former self, like the current
which
Rock.
version of
I'm
what?
sorry, my head is currently filled with The Rock dressing up as himself in costume. That's all I can think about right now.
What is
I'm
that?
I'm trying to clear my head so we can actually talk about something that makes sense. And all I can see is The Rock trying to do this. It doesn't work anymore. It's like, how does he do it? It's like, he is you. What are you talking about?
Pretending
This
like
is what my head is like.
Okay.
That's why my writing sucks.
The people's champion.
Yeah.
Was there anyone else that we normally
cast.
cast? Sean Connery,
Yes.
Keanu Reeves.
Now that Patrick Stewart's not in the movie.
We don't have Patrick Stewart.
He can be Buckingham.
Okay.
Okay.
So we can get that, as they always say, that super acting Patrick
Yeah.
Stewart, but when he's professing his love to the Queen.
Oh no.
Yes.
And then at the end when he dies, and we didn't really talk about the whole situation with Felton actually killing Buckingham.
Stabbed him.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, he's dead.
No thoughts about it?
He did.
I mean, we already said that he was overzealous.
Yep.
Like, I was actually surprised with Buckingham.
Mm-hmm.
I get that this soldier comes from his boy,
Yeah.
but still being in a room alone with him. When I'm about to sail out to war, I would be nervous at all times.
Yes.
That's true.
But he was just like, oh yeah, sit down. I'm half naked because I just got out of the shower. So what do you want to talk about? Yeah, I'll sign a paper. And then when the conversation starts turning, he has horrible security in his building.
I would have, yeah. I mean, the whole thing just felt like weird. Like, why were they so far? Why couldn't they save him?
Where he starts raising
Why did
his
he call
voice, but no one
immediately?
still comes.
Yeah, like why didn't he call immediately? Like as soon as this guy threatens him the first time, he's like, I don't have to listen to this.
We all know that one situation where like the neighbors are like, you know, yelling and screaming. And it's like, come on, that's their business.
But there's not supposed to be any yelling or screaming. The guy was supposed to come, get a paper signed, and leave. Aside from the fact that he was sent by someone who's a friend. So what's the yelling? Just that whole scene was just like.
Right, and the other thing that like
I kind of understand that, you know, just living where I live, being where I'm from, and understanding that, like, you know, if somebody's yelling, it's like, that's their business. If you hear shots, then you duck. But otherwise, that's their business.
it's not even neighbors. Like he has guards that are supposed to be outside, but they were just like, oh, there's yelling.
Yep.
Okay, more yelling. But did he say help? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
And the guards aren't the first ones into the room. His assistant is.
Yeah.
And they don't show up until the assistant starts yelling, "Mother!"
Well, then, you know, that's the magic word. That's the how do you say
The safety
the
word?
safe word. The safe word is murder.
Jesus.
I don't know. That scene was just like a little weird. And then at every other turn in the book, you look at someone foul, you're dead.
Yes.
And this case, Felton kills Buckingham, and then he gets arrested. And he gets held up outside. And I'm like, the guard didn't kill him immediately for
Well, the guards didn't even grab him. The Winter does,
that.
which
yeah.
is crazy.
Mhm.
The guards just say, "What? Someone died?
That's right.
Wait, what do I get paid for?"
I mean, I'm only 15. I don't know.
That's
Am
right.
I gonna get paid for this?
I've been there. I'm on break.
That's
I'm
it.
on break.
So, that's another thing. How do we feel about the Winter's timing?
Oh, how fast he caught up, or
How he's always late. Because remember, he shows up to Buckingham Murder. Damn, I'm a minute late. And then when he's talking about chasing Milady, I showed
4
up
hours.
4 hours after she left this town. I showed up 3 hours after she left this place. I showed up 2 hours after she left this place. And I guess I'm late now because I see a dead body. Mother.
Well, I
I've been
mean,
there too.
if he was on time, then you couldn't say winter's coming. So,
Right.
hey! Hell yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
Apparently, we're growing corn on this podcast now.
Shut up, then. Screw you. I thought that joke was good.
I think
Thank
it
you
was
very
good
much.
too. But I can still smell the winter wheat.
Okay, so we've done our best to cast. This is kind of a bit difficult.
I don't think we've done our best, but
No.
I think we tried.
We tried.
Yes.
You know, it's hard.
And no one's hiring us to, do actually casting anytime soon.
But I think
we're casting
some...
basically 5 people in all movies.
The
Yeah.
greatest 5.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look up
It's
some,
like-
bring some new blood into
They're gonna
this.
call our casting company The Usual Suspects.
Yeah.
I
Well,
like it.
I'm actually trying to think who else I might, who else would be kind of fun to throw into the mix, of characters in general. I'm trying to think of some women that might be fun to kind of throw into this, The Rock and Sean Connery kind of routine. I can't think of any now, but I'll look up some for next episode.
Yes.
Which, do we know what we're reading next?
No, we haven't decided.
We haven't decided. We'll definitely work on that.
Yeah, so
I
we'll
have a
figure
suggestion.
out what's that.
What's up?
You might not like it.
Uh-oh.
Does it have boats in it?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh, of course not. He would
Actually-
be the one to suggest
Actually, there's one boat.
citations?
No. No. Green eggs and ham.
I mean, that would be a quick.
Yes. This is what I love about S1. All my ridiculous suggestions, he at least considers them.
I just won't even look at you.
It's why I think he would be an amazing father. He'd have the one stupid kid in the backseat of the minivan saying something incredibly stupid that you shouldn't pay attention to. And he'd be like, "Well, buddy."
That's why that won't work.
Exactly. It's like Dad always takes me serious.
But then you end up with a kid that no. No.
Then he ends up in the White House.
Oh.
And the sigh comes over the podcast.
This is the heavy sci-fi. That was terrible. So, if we don't have any other fun casting
No,
parts.
did anybody suggest anything from the internet or did we have a list anywhere or anything?
Well, Joel had asked us to read the other book that has Captain Nemo in it.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
trying to remember which one that is.
Extraordinary Gentleman, that one?
No.
Comic.
It's another book by the same author of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Which was his name?
If I remember.
20,000. Jules Verne.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Keep joking.
No.
No.
This is the Dead Air
We're just sitting here
podcast.
staring at you. Would you stop renaming the podcast? If you want to have a podcast with multiple personalities, you can start.
It's the name of this podcast.
No, I quit.
Yes.
We're waiting. Do you know how to use Google?
Yes.
Are you sure?
No.
Oh, well, here's what we can talk about. We were thinking about possibly doing more podcasts in the vein of the discussion we had for Juneteenth.
Mm-hmm.
So if that was something you were interested in, or if you had any ideas that would, concerning, something you would like to hear about
Yeah.
from different perspectives from, or if you'd like to hear more from Sam and Tony, we would love to do more podcasts with them. We really want to hear from our listeners and love for you to tell us, what you want to hear from us. We'd love to give you that, and we like to talk about pretty much anything. We're a group with many interests and many opinions.
Mm-hmm.
We'd love to have.
And as a side note, if you weren't aware of Juneteenth, of the discussion that we had, we got together with fellow podcasters, podcast hosts from Hermit and Homie, Sam and Tony, some good friends of mine, and we did a discussion for Juneteenth where the 5 of us in total read a piece written by a Black author from various points in time, different pieces, poetry, philosophy, biographies, that kind of stuff. And we just had like a general discussion on our thoughts on it and how it reflects to modern issues that are going on today and what it means. And if you're interested in seeing that, it was a really, really amazing discussion. Really brilliant pieces were read, and it's available on YouTube. It was originally an Instagram Live, so the format is an Instagram Live format. It's kind of vertical, but I tried to put up the art, the whatever literary pieces anyone was reading, so you can read them and listen to the podcast, to the discussion. And we were thinking about doing something similar for something in the vein of philosophy, where we'd have a couple of guests and we'd all read something philosophically based, and we would all kind of talk about it, and that we were thinking about maybe having old books podcast discussions and kind of launching that as a thing.
Yeah.
So if you watched Juneteenth and you got feedback, let us have it. We'd love to hear if you enjoyed it, or if you'd like to hear us discuss things on Instagram Live. Other topics could be some of the books that we've read, could be other things.
Yeah.
We're open to suggestions. If you'd like to hear us talk about stuff, we enjoy talking.
Yes.
So, let us know what's up.
If you just want to talk about dogs, we can do that.
There's
dogs between us.
Yeah.
At least 3.
Puppies.
Yes.
The Mysterious Island.
Is that the name of the book? I thought there was another one. I thought there was a different book.
Nope, that's the Jules Verne book where Captain Nemo shows up.
No.
The Mysterious Island. I've
Yes.
never even heard of it.
I didn't hear about it.
Oh. So we'll pencil that in. We might read that. We have to take a look at it. I kind of want to read something by a black author.
God, we do
I don't know.
that. I'd like to read something by Langston Hughes.
Who's that?
He's a black author. He's a very famous black author.
The king of Who's That will tell me more and gives me the most pointed,
Well, you said
bland.
that. I haven't read a lot by him, so I'd like to read more by him.
Alright, fine, whatever. Maybe we'll do that.
Yeah.
So we have a couple of options. There are also some other books that we have a list, including Animal Farm. And,
Oh, that's kind of
yeah,
deep.
Well, I mean, we don't shy away from deep books.
No, but I just remember reading that in high school. It was just like,
I didn't read it,
oh.
so I don't
I'm not
even
saying
really
we
know what
can't
it's
read it.
about.
I'm just saying I remember it being like, it was like, oh, that's a lot there.
Well,
That's like 4 podcasts at least. That's
No.
like 4 episodes.
I'm not afraid.
But is it good?
I wouldn't say it's bad or good. I would just say there's a lot there. It's rich in like subject matter because it's talking about classism and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of those books, one of those old books that
It's an allegory.
I'm trying to run away from is War and Peace.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever quite get there. Maybe, I don't know.
Why? Toby, the dog you've seen several times on this podcast, is stalking us.
What's he doing now?
He's just coming to the edge of the kitchen door, looking at me and walking away. It's very creepy.
Well,
He's checking to see if we're done.
also, it's hotter here than it is over there, so he's staying where it's cool.
No.
Yeah.
He's stalking me.
Oh, he's stalking you.
Yes. He's looking directly at me. He's not looking for Esteban.
Mm-hmm.
He's not like looking around. I wonder where Esteban is.
He hears
he's
our
not looking
voices,
at you. It's like,
so he's not wondering if we left.
is Ariana done? I'd like to be held by her. No. He's coming and staring at me, making eye contact.
Well, we had more people here and then they left, and he knows that you are probably going to leave too, so he's coming to look at you and be like, you ain't leaving here. And with that, I think we'll close up this podcast.
What, this one?
Yeah, this one. This episode.
The name of that podcast?
22. 22.
So if she punched me in the face, it's because I deserve
Right. Thank you so much to all our loyal listeners.
Yes, thank you.
We'll announce what book we're going to read on Instagram or Twitter.
Yay.
Our favorite human Esteban is handling our Instagram now.
Yay.
Officially assigned that role.
That's right.
That is, I'm gonna employ you to be our Twitter person, I think.
Right.
But
So our Instagram is now called our Instagram. I can do this all day if you want.
I'm going to sleep. Thank you guys for listening, and thank you too for reading these books with me and being on this podcast.
Technically, we're cheating.
Oh goodness. You can find us on Twitter and Facebook, Old Books Podcast. We have a new link card for Instagram that also includes direct access to our email.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to reach out to us via email to suggest a book or give us some direct feedback, if you don't want to put it on social media, we'd love for you to email us too. That would be dope. And is that it? Anything else, gentlemen?
I'm
wanna-
thirsty.
Yeah, I'm thirsty too. Where can people find you? If they want?
You can find me at dmellowbk on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
You can find me at the same name, dmellowbk, on Instagram. And my house.
Mm-hmm. Well, we don't put that.
Yeah. I'm not telling you my
You-
address, but that's where you can find me.
That's the band.
Yeah, the old book stuff, and then
Old
there's other
books.
things.
Podcast.
Old Books Podcast.
Yeah.
Literally Old Books Podcast,
That's right.
all one word.
And
Instagram.
hashtag Esteban.
No have.
God knows what'll come
No,
up.
you have to hashtag DJ Muerzo or DJ Cabeduro.
Cabezón.
Cabeduro. And I'm DJ Matoka. Reality.
Bye.
Bye. Dope.
Hey. That didn't feel like an hour, wasn't it?
Bye.
An hour, 12 minutes. 1 hour, 12
That's right.
minutes. We out.